Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for Citybiz List, and welcome to our program today. And our special guest today is Steve DaRe, and Steve is the Chief Financial Officer and Interim President and CEO for the Chimes. Steve, welcome to our program.
Thanks, David. I'm glad to be here.
So, Steve, let's begin. Many of our viewers are familiar with the Chimes and its incredible history and many outstanding programs, but let's assume that some are not. So, beginning with that, take a moment and tell us a little bit about the Chimes and all the great work you do throughout the community.
Okay. Well, the Chimes is a large not-for-profit. We're headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland. We serve roughly 26,000 individuals with disabilities, and we serve those 26,000 individuals with about 3,500 employees across our 7-state footprint. So as I said, we're headquartered in Baltimore. We provide services in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, as well as North Carolina. We have roughly 150 residential group homes across our footprint, 6 day habilitation programs. We run a licensed school in Maryland, and in Pennsylvania, we run multiple outpatient clinics and other services. And then we also perform custodial services and other services for the Ability One program on over 28 federal sites.
So, Steve, let me go. I mean, it's amazing the depth and breadth of all your programming for people with disabilities. But in terms of the last thing you said, most people probably are familiar with the Chimes because of the outstanding work that you and your colleagues do, or really the people with disabilities do at the airport. So tell us a little bit about that. And I fly quite frequently. Last year, I think I took 50 flights. So I see proud, positive people wearing their Chimes shirts with the logo and smiles on their face, and they're taking the carts throughout the corridors and cleaning the restrooms and putting flowers in there as well. So, but let you talk about it, not me.
Okay. I traveled through BWI Airport probably more than I'd like to say for over 30 years. Professionally, and never really noticed so much about the people that were working at in the custodial services area. Chimes has an over 2-decade partnership with Maryland Works and the Maryland Aviation Administration. We've got over 250 employees providing services on all of the piers at the airport. As you mentioned, the holidays, the whole holiday season is an incredibly big time at the airport. Thousands and thousands of people go through BWI Airport, and we take great pride in keeping their total facility spick and span. For many travelers that come through Maryland, their first experience with Maryland is BWI Airport, and their introduction to the state is that airport. So we take great pride and privilege in providing the excellent work there for that contract.
Well, I know, on occasion I have a conversation with our governor, and on occasion I've been privileged to also have conversations with the head of the airport, and I know they take great pride in that program and offering the employment that those folks are able to have, and furthermore, on top of it all, I think BWI Airport's the cleanest airport potentially in the country. So kudos to everybody who's working on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we take really great pride in our disabled workforce. It's really one of the hallmarks of our organization. As we talked about, we have many federal contracts through the Ability One program, 1,200 employees in our Chimes DC division. Over 700 of them are disabled for the work. So, we are cleaning, most of the buildings in Fort Bragg, multiple federal buildings. We provide custodial services to 2 floors of the Pentagon, as well as many, many other Department of Defense contracts. In addition, we provide supported employment services in Delaware and in Maryland for big organizations like Wawa and DuPont, University of Delaware, where we provide disabled workers to do a variety of services in those organizations.
So, Steve, again, congratulations there. I know that 2022, which only has several weeks to run, represented a milestone anniversary for you and your colleagues at the Chimes. Please share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this has been a really, really big year for Chimes. This is our 75th anniversary. We just did a homecoming celebration about a month and a half ago, which was very well attended, supported our foundation, as well as the rest of the organization. The Chimes was started in 1947 in Baltimore in the basement of a church. That's where the Chimes came from. That individual was providing special education services for their child, as well as 5 other students with intellectual disabilities and their families. Over the years, the Chimes has grown both organically through program expansions and expansions of federal contracts, as well as through affiliation. That's how we got to our 7-state footprint. Through this process, we've become a family of services structured to support the needs of individuals with disabilities. But this year in particular, it's not a lot of not-for-profits or any companies for that matter that are built to last 75 years. And really, our internal mandate is that we're going to last at a minimum another 75 years.
Well, I hope you do. And you also, besides what we've talked about, you're offering mental health and substance abuse prevention programs as well.
And this has been a tremendous area during the pandemic. We primarily provide those services in our Pennsylvania affiliate, Chimes Holcomb. We serve over 20,000 clients across Eastern Pennsylvania in multiple outpatient clinics, and we also perform crisis services. We're involved in the new 988 program across Pennsylvania. We also provide school-based services for many of the county school programs. Beyond that employment and mental health service, we also provide services for people with disabilities in Pennsylvania as well, in a number of residential facilities.
So, Steve, despite your obvious ongoing and overwhelming success, I think it's fair to say, and please feel free to share details, these are also challenging times for organizations like the Chimes as well, correct?
You're absolutely right. I would be remiss to say we're lucky for the funding sources that we have. We are not completely dependent upon our foundation, but those funding sources, many times do not pay all of our bills. And one of our biggest challenges is hiring a direct service provider workforce. Turnover in that level of our organization for direct service providers is over 40%, typically within the first 3 to 6 months. We're competing in the exact same wage category as many fast food providers, Amazon, and other businesses that have frontline workers, restaurants. And as most folks would realize when they go into a restaurant and they have a little sign that says, be patient with us, that's exactly what we're experiencing as well. Except our service levels can only go so low. So we have to, it's a mandatory that we replace those positions. Also hiring mental health and substance abuse workers in Pennsylvania. We just talked about that business. Many behavioral health clinicians have left the business. It was just that stressful during the pandemic. So people just plain left the field. So, we are struggling along with many other, both profit and nonprofit providers to attract and retain that clinical workforce.
So, Steve, despite those challenges, and it certainly seems as if you've met them despite the difficulty. What are you most excited about in terms of the future? What's the future of the Chimes, and what kind of ongoing programs and new programs should we look for?
Yeah, I think that we are going to continue to focus to stand up programs that had been closed down during the pandemic. Our school is expanding. It's really having a bit of a renaissance. We are seeing our day habilitation programs come back. We're seeing parents have the confidence in us to bring back those programs. I'm very encouraged by our company's internal culture. We really put clients first. That's the thing that's important to us. That's our mission. So we are fostering, our employees to be able to support that mission. We're also seeing through some of our advocacy programs, abilities for us to gain additional funding through our state legislatures or our federal programs. And we're also partnering very closely with Source America and the Ability One program for our federal contract business in order to expand those services and hire more disabled FTEs. That's their mandate, is to hire more people with disabilities and put them to work. So I'm really truly excited about that piece, and the fact that our partnership is becoming much closer through our different programs.
That's great. And so in closing, how can people support the Chimes? How can they help you succeed even more than you already do?
So as I mentioned, we have a great foundation that helps to support where there are gaps in funding for our programs. Anyone can give Lindy Bowman, our VP of Development, a call. He's up on our website. He'd be glad to tell the Chimes story. Also, go and check out our website, chimes.org. Pretty simple. You can follow us on social media platforms. Virtually everyone, we're there, and it has great information about all of our different affiliates, our programs, as well as our clients.
Steve, this has been a great conversation, and even I, who have some familiarity with the Chimes over the years, was not aware of the depth and breadth and of all of your programming. And just again, repeat for our audience again, so they understand. Just rattle off some numbers. Your budget and the number of folks you serve and the number of employees you have.
Yeah. So Chimes is a $210 million not-for-profit. We're headquartered in Baltimore. We serve 27,000 clients with disabilities, and we have roughly 3,500 employees that we serve.
Well, let me just say, keep up the good work, and let me, suggest to our audience, our viewers who might run across someone wearing a Chimes logoed shirt, whether it's in the airport or wherever, think about thanking them for the good work that they do as well. Steve, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks very much. Very much appreciate it.
And I would urge everybody to check out the Chimes, go to their website and support them in any way that you possibly can. This is David Nevins for Citybiz List. Thank you for joining us today.